Hello, my dear student. Welcome to the subject name is Environmental Science, and today we are going to discuss two very important topic of this unit, that is AIDS and women and child welfare. This is lecture 73, and this is the reference of today lecture. The today PPT has been made from this source or ebook. You can go through this, and link for the more information. You can go through these books and link and the pics for your information and more information. Now talking about the today topic, that is the AIDS and HIV. I have mentioned here that what is AIDS. So what is HIV? Firstly, we have to understand what is HIV and what is AIDS and how both are different from each other and how both are uh, related to each other. HIV stand for human immunodeficiency virus. Human immunodeficiency virus is a virus that attacks the human body immune system and making the human body vulnerable to the infection and disease. And it is basically spread by the contact with the bodily fluid of a person with the HIV person. अगर बॉडी का फ्लूइड जो है HIV person से कनेक्ट हो जाता है तो you can easily get infected. And if left untreated, HIV can lead to disease AIDS. अगर HIV एक basically kind of a virus है which left untreated, then it leads to disease, that is AIDS. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome is a full form of AIDS. The human bodies cannot be rid of the HIV and no effective HIV cure exists. So once you have HIV, you have it for a life. However, by taking HIV medicine antiretroviral therapy or ART is a therapy or a medicine people with HIV or using that particular therapy or particular medicine can live a long life and can live a healthy life. First identified in 1981, the first case of HIV patient is identified in 1981. HIV is a cause of one of the humanity deadliest and the most persistent epidemic disease. So now I hope you understand. Basically ये HIV वायरस है जो कि बॉडी के इम्यून सिस्टम में अटैच हो जाता है. यू कैन सी दैट अटैच हो जाता है और पर्सन के इम्यून सिस्टम को वीक कर देता है. एंड इट बेसिकली स्प्रेड थ्रू अ हाउ फ्लूइड के थ्रू. बॉडी में जब फ्लूइड किसी भी फॉर्म में फ्लूइड में जब एंटर करता है तो हाउ व्हाट इज मीन बाय द एड्स. एड्स इज बेसिकली लेट स्टेज ऑफ द HIV इन्फेक्शन. HIV इन्फेक्शन से जो लेट स्टेज होती है, HIV की जो लास्ट स्टेज होती है, that leads to cause a disease that is AIDS that occur when the body immune system is badly damaged because of the virus. When due to the presence of the HIV virus in the immune system of a body, and this HIV virus badly damages the immune system of body, then it lead to a disease that is AIDS. तो HIV एक इनिशियल स्टेज है जिसमें कि HIV बहुत ज्यादा जो सीवियर हो जाता है, जो बहुत ज्यादा हार्डली डैमेज करने लग जाता है बॉडी के इम्यून सिस्टम को. तो लास्ट स्टेज जो होती है उस स्टेज को बोलते हैं एड्स. एंड अ पर्सन विद HIV इज कंसिडर्ड टू हैव अ प्रोग्रेस टू एड्स. व्हेन पर्सन जो HIV है उसको कब हम एड्स कहेंगे? व्हेन द नंबर ऑफ देयर CD4 जो उनके सेल्स हैं फॉल बिलो 200 सेल्स पर क्यूबिक मिलीमीटर ऑफ द ब्लड. तो 200 सेल्स पर मिनट में हमारे अवेलेबल थे. जब इसकी सेल की जो क्वांटिटी है जब रिड्यूस जाएगी C4 सेल की, तब जाके हम कहेंगे कि पर्सन जो है इट गेट इन्फेक्टेड. एंड इफ समवन विद हेल्दी इम्यून सिस्टम, CD24 कितना काउंट होता है? 500 and 1600 सेल पर के करीब होता है. बट इन HIV पेशेंट the number of this CD24 cell is basically 200 cell per mm में होता है. and they develop one of the more opportunity infection regardless of their CV count. तो ये बहुत ही इन्फेक्शियस डिजीज है जिसमें HIV वायरस जो होता है वो इनिशियल स्टेज में होता है एंड लीड टू रिड्यूस द fall of the C4 cells reduce जाता है and it become 200 cells per mm. So now, without the HIV medicine, people with AIDS typically survive about the 3 year. अगर आप मेडिसिन नहीं ले रहे हैं, कोई पर्सन HIV infected and if you're not using the HIV medicine, then he can only typically survive for the 3 years. So here I've mentioned that some difference between HIV and AIDS. Most of the students might get confused that what is the difference between the HIV and AIDS? Why you have mentioned HIV, then I have mentioned AIDS. Both terminology are different and both are different kind of process. HIV basically it's a kind of virus that causes the HIV infection, and HIV damage the immune system by clicking the C4 cells of the human body. तो ह्यूमन बॉडी के C4 सेल्स को डैमेज करके, इम्यून सिस्टम को सेल को डैमेज करके HIV वायरस HIV इन्फेक्शन फैलाता है. एंड C4 सेल क्या है? C4 सेल आर द पार्ट ऑफ द इम्यून सिस्टम का होता है. HIV अटैक एंड किल द C4 cells, and loss of the C4 cell make it hard for the body to fight off the infection. तो C4 cell वो cells होते हैं जो बॉडी को इम्यूनिटी प्रोवाइड करते हैं, एंड ड्यू टू द लॉस ऑफ दिस सेल्स बॉडी की जो इम्यून सिस्टम है वो डिक्रीज आती है, और ये डिक्रीज होने के कारण क्या होता है? एड्स हो जाता है. तो फर्स्टली स्टेज में HIV होता है एंड देन एड्स होता है. एड्स बेसिकली लास्ट स्टेज ऑफ द HIV इन्फेक्शन होता है. HIV जब इन्फेक्शन में क्रिएट हो जाता है, वायरस से इन्फेक्शन में जाता है, देन इन्फेक्शन का लास्ट stage of HIV, that is AIDS. And HIV infection advances to AIDS, the amount of HIV in the body increase and the number of severe decreases. HIV जैसे बढ़ेगा, HIV infection, as HIV infection increases, the number of CD4 means immunity cells it decreases, and HIV can stop by the HIV medicine, but it slow the process, but it not totally डैमेज दैट वायरस. तो मेडिसिन जो है वो डैमेज नहीं करती है वायरस को, बट स्लो प्रोसेस कर देती है. HIV से HIV इन्फेक्शन में स्लो प्रोसेस स्टार्ट होता है. एंड विदाउट द HIV मेडिसिन, HIV एडवांसेस टू AIDS is at about 10 to 12 years. Now, causative AIDS is a name as, so basically you can understand now. Now you have, I hope you understand that ki HIV is basically kind of a virus which is basically in initial stage of the AIDS. So AIDS last stage है and HIV is for primary stage है, and it is basically HIV basically क्या उसे होता है? It has been detected in a body fluid like semen, saliva, tear, urine, and it is attack the immune system, and it immune system को affect करता है. Immune system हमें fight help against the infection, and जो immune system damage हो जाता है, and then it leads to a disease that is a AIDS. And incubation period क्या होता है? Time between receiving the infection and the appearance. जब HIV infection करता है तो its symptom may be even after more than 10 to years. तो जिसके symptom होते हैं वो 10 से 12 साल लेते हैं. And during this period the person show a positive result for the HIV infection, and they are popularly called HIV positive. But their symptom is occur after a 10 to 12 year, and most of the individual when the AIDS is fully developed die within the 3 year. तो जब एड्स डेवलप हो जाता है तो 3 साल तक सर्वाइव कर सकता है ड्यू टू दिस पर्टिकुलर काइंड ऑफ डिजीज. Now, transmission of disease, that is one of the most important questions that arise in your mind, that how the AIDS can survive and how you can get protected yourself. AIDS basically transmitted through this way, use of the non-sterile syringes, pregnancy, breastfeeding, blood transfusion, organ transplantation, and a protected way of living a life. And HIV is not transmitted through food, drinking, and insect bites, and touch, and cloth, towel, and if you are using same kind of a toilet and shower, so it cannot be transferred through this way. So this is a way, and 11 December is celebrated as a AIDS Day. Now talking about the women and child welfare are the soft, as you know that women and child are the soft target who suffer in the large way because of their gender discrimination and devaluation at the home and workplace, in a matrimony and in a inheritance and in a public place. They are victimized, and particularly in the development countries. The gender violence hota hai and harassment take place in many forms across the nation, and especially the large number of cases of the adopted and dowry, death, rape, domestic violence, criminal offenses, and mental torture to women is something that need to be immediate attention and reform in the interest of the woman should be taken. And women are often the most important, most worst victim of the communal enmities, and the human rights of the women are violated so often in a more dominating patriarchal society. So, ये patriarchal society means जो मेल डोमिनेटेड society है उसमें women are mostly violated, and thus the urgent need for the policy reform kind of section or strict legislation we need to protect women. And we need, as well as we need education and legal awareness among the women for the checking these kind of atrocity and injustice towards us. And there are the many women's group who actively to take take up women's welfare issue and legally constituted women's cells to help them, and to fight for the protection of the women rights and exist almost everywhere and fight for the protection of the women and their dignity. तो काफी ऐसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है जो वुमेन के प्रोटेक्शन के लिए काम कर रही है, क्योंकि वुमेन आर बोथ मोस्टली एक्सप्लॉइटेड बाय द मेल डोमिनेटेड सोसाइटी. And the full-fledged Ministry for the Women and Child Welfare, whose sole aims to work for the welfare and upliftment of the one woman, accomplishing family planning, health education and awareness, health and care and education awareness में ministry भी work कर रही है. Beside the government initiative, there are the n number of NGO who are work for the women welfare, that Mahila Mandal to create a awareness among the women of the remote area के लिए work के लिए करती है, and to empower them, to train them, to educate them, and to help them to become economically self-dependent. And Rashtra Mahila Ayog also help in this. Ayog was made and constituted in 1990, and it deal with the atrocity on the women at the national level. And another equal remuneration act, according to this act, each man and woman should be receive equal wage for the equal kind of same kind of work. Before this, women always receive less wage than the man. So these, through this act and through this ayog, the we can do for the welfare of the women, and can protect them from we can protect them from the exploitation. Now, talking about the child welfare, children are the considered to be asset of the society. Most ironically, the statistical figure tell us that about the million baby of the 221 million born every year in India, and as abandoned soon after their birth due to the different social economic reasons. And around the 20 million children in our country are the estimated to be working as a child labor. So most of the data in the most of the hazardous industries like mastic industries, firework industries, brassware industries, pottery industries, and the poverty is a main reason to drive these children into the long hours of the work in a miserable, unhealthy condition, and yet they do not get the minimum nutritive food. What to talk about the education and recreational facility? What are their childhood rights? So यहाँ पर वेलफेयर, चाइल्ड वेलफेयर बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि चाइल्ड वेलफेयर इसलिए जरूरी है कि चाइल्ड लेबर स्टार्ट हो जाता है, उनको उनके लिए खाने के लिए बेसिक मिनिमम न्यूट्रिटिव डाइट नहीं है. तो हाउ वी कैन टॉक अबाउट द एजुकेशन एंड रिक्रिएशनल फैसिलिटी? वी शुड हैव टू प्रोवाइड देम अ बेसिक राइट्स so that they can live a happy life. The UN General Assembly in 1959 adopted the Declaration of the Right of the Children, and they took step, and afterward it became an international law in 1990. Law defined the right of the children to survival. The children को rights मिले to survival, protection and development participation. And through this right we can do a welfare, child welfare activity. The World Summit on the Children held on a 30th September 1990, and India is a signatory to World to Declaration on the Survival, Protection and Development of the Children, and National Plan for the Action for the Children has been formulated by the Ministry of Resource Development. The Government of India envisages strategy plan also be formulated for the children welfare in the priority area of the human health, education, nutrition, clean, safe drinking water, sanitation, and the environment related step in Government of India. So that for the formulation of the welfare vector and universalization of the effective access to the less Least primary education, especially emphasis on the girls' child education, including the health and nutritive upgradation of the home basic skill and midday meal. These kind of schemes has helped uh, for the welfare of the child. So this is all about the today's session. Thank you, my dear student.